At a buffet in Germany, I had to pay for ketchup. I gathered my food and stopped by the condiment station. After grabbing a bunch of ketchup packets, I walked towards the sitting area. I was stopped by an employee saying, "Excuse me, you have to pay separately for that." Ranch-flavored Doritos in the Netherlands are called Cool American flavor. I'm from Northern Europe but have visited USA a couple of times. Their love for SUV cars and drive-thru is unreal. Like there is a Dunkin', Subway, and 3 kinds of fast food place next to each other, and all of them have a drive-thru. Small avocados. I went to Puerto Rico, was like, "Yo, I will have like 6 of those stuffed avocados." Buddy was like, "Yo, gringo, I think you underestimate the size of our avocados here. Just have one and it'll bring you more if you want after." I had half of one. It was like a football. I moved to England from Texas about 6 years ago. One of the major things that I noticed was that smiling and being friendly towards strangers was considered bizarre. This is a bit true in any metropolitan area, but especially in the UK. In Texas, I was used to smiling at people, asking for directions if I needed them, and being friendly towards strangers. I learned very quickly that smiling at someone on the tube or asking someone for directions on the street immediately makes someone think you're trying to scam, rob them, or you're crazy. Okay, so this one is probably pretty obvious, and looking back on it, it's really embarrassing. My family took a European vacation when I was 17. For some reason, we decided to get KFC in the UK, because America. My friend who came with us went with me to order and pick up our order. We ordered a family-sized bucket of chicken, and they asked us what kinds of side dishes we wanted. We said biscuits, and the employees looked at us with the strangest look. "UK KFC, you want biscuits with your chicken?" Me, "Yes, biscuits." "UK KFC, we don't sell those." Me, "What do you mean you don't sell biscuits? What are your sides?" "UK KFC, chips?" Me, "You mean French fries? Okay, fine, that'll do." I was worldly enough to know that chips meant French fries, but biscuits in the UK are cookies. My fat ass tried to order fried chicken and cookies. I am positive someone over in the UK is still telling this story at parties as an example of how disgusting Americans are. Also on this same trip, my father asked why our waitress kept saying cheese when she was saying cheers. We really left a good impression across the pond. The prices abroad don't add tax after the fact. You pay what the price shows. No need to figure the tax. Dumb that we do that here. Getting to choose from like 50 different types and subtypes of sodas. Hearing commercials advocating you to go to the doctor and demand a prescription for whatever fantasy pill is new to the market on the radio, like it is no big deal. How iced coffee is actually ice cream in your coffee. Best surprise Germany ever offered me. I did an art history course in Italy. What really stood out to me was the size of cars over there. Over here, you have a mix of mid-sized sedans and pickup trucks, just SUVs, with the occasional compact car. Back when I went, compact cars here were incredibly scarce. Over there, it seemed like most everyone drove a compact car with the occasional sports car. I remember counting 6 pickup trucks in the 10 days I was there. For comparison, I can name more than 6 people I know with a pickup here. Jaywalking. The rest of the world thinks this is a made-up crime you only see in movies with corrupt cops. How large grocery stores are here. My wife is not American, and we lived in China and were in Hong Kong all the time. They had large international stores that were great, and she didn't really grasp the size of American grocery stores till our first week in the USA, and there's 150 feet of cereals on one aisle. Massively wide roads, lanes. The whole of Ireland made me feel claustrophobic, but when I got back home, the roads felt like way too much wasted space. Having your drink constantly refilled at restaurants. I just want to drink a ton of water, all right? Tailgates. I've lived in the States my entire life. But when my Spanish girlfriend came to visit, I wasn't sure what I could show her that really exhibited American culture. There are plenty of American stereotypes you see on TV, but it wasn't until I took her to a tailgate that I realized how violently American the whole experience is. A huge parking lot full of drunk 20-year-olds bouncing on trucks bigger than most European apartments, with half the trucks blaring country and the other half blasting rap, solo cups and beer cans all over the place, grills, cornhole, etc. I've traveled to quite a few different countries, and I can't really see a tailgate happening most other places. Portion sizes. My high school senior trip to London, as a typically ravenous appetite 18-year-old, I couldn't get over how small everything was standard. By the time we got to Rome on our always walking backpacking trip, I was tired of the small portions and just straight up ordered 2 entrees for lunch. I heard the waiter tell the cook, "Pour Americano." Red plastic cups for parties. So much so that people outside US use them as the accessory to American-themed parties. Not an American, but I can always spot Americans at the airport because they take off their shoes at security, even if it's not required. People can just drink in public in other countries? That was wild to me. Worth mentioning that this is not all over, just many states. Mine is Pennsylvania, and our alcohol laws are janky as feck. Keeping air conditioner on 100% of the time in the summer. Visited Madrid for about a month to see the exchange student we housed, and found that they typically only turn on AC at night to sleep, or when it reaches a damned 105-degree F. How are you being used in place of hello even with strangers? In the US, how are you needs only to be replied with good you, almost as a way of saying hi. Elsewhere, people don't really know how to respond when a stranger asks, "How are you? How you doing? How's it going?" My British friend makes fun of me for how much cheese I use in my cooking. Doesn't stop her from inhaling my potato casseroles, but there you go. I doubt this is restricted to America in any way, but when I studied abroad in the UK, the lack of public drinking laws was a bit of a culture shock. Being able to walk outside with a bottle of beer was very freeing. Garbage disposals and sinks. When I moved to the UK, my flatmates asked how in movies people would stick their hands in the sink drain and it be ripped apart. I told them about garbage disposals and they were very weirded out. When I went to Australia, I found out very quickly that no one down there roots for a team. They go for a team. So when I said I root for the Red Sox, I got a lot of weird looks. Rooting means fecking in Australian. Free public restrooms. When I visited Europe, I thought it was the strangest thing that you had to pay to use a public restroom. Sugar. When I visited Japan, even some of their sweetest desserts pale in comparison to how much sugar is in American food. Dressing like Sit to do stuff like grocery shop. Went to the Netherlands for about 2 weeks, and we never saw anyone dressing comfy shit. Like everyone looked nice, everywhere, at all hours. You catch me walking through Walmart at 3 a.m., and I'm wearing old PJs, whatever shirt I happen to exist in, and I'm probably not wearing socks. I was struck by the extent to which nobody talks to strangers in Northern Europe. Even in big cities in the US, people will talk to each other, sometimes in line, on the subway, etc. Not deep conversations, but it isn't weird to make casual conversation. Being friendly to an extent. I checked in at a hostel and walked into the lounge area where people from all over the world were just chilling. I kind of introduced myself to the whole room and someone goes, "You're from the States, yeah." And I'm like, "Yeah, how'd you know?" They said only an American will walk into a room of strangers and introduce themselves to everybody. It is a Japanese culture to always greet someone as a sign of respect, but I feel uneasy that Americans sometimes looks at you and do a half smile while not saying anything. Eating a burger and fries with your hands. I just assumed everyone did this. I went to Sweden with my boyfriend and we stopped at a burger joint. Small local place. When the chef heard we were American, he immediately wanted us to try a specialty burger he made, and tell him what we thought about it. They were all excited when we picked it up with our hands and we realized everyone else in the place was using a fork and knife. Burger was 11/10. I grew up in the US and moved to Europe about 10 years ago. I learned quickly to get out of the habit of smiling or saying hello to strangers on the street. I didn't understand why people found it so off-putting at first, because I thought I was simply being polite. A European friend explained that it comes across as phony, untrustworthy, and puts people on their guard. It can still be hard sometimes to shake the feeling that I'm being rude by not smiling at everyone I pass by. Here in the States, pregnancy announcements, shock reveals, baby showers are mainstream, but it's generally a big no-no to bring it up in Kenya. My mom found out the hard way. Essentially, asking someone when the baby is due is the equivalent of asking the person, "When did you and your husband feck?" which is considered extremely rude. The lady my mom asked was gracious about it, but said, "If we were not such good friends, I would have slapped you."